Okay, so tonight I want to talk about the special relationship. Because, you know, all of us seem to want to have a special relationship. We all want that special someone. And all of our friendships, you want that specialness going on. And that's kind of a thing that the ego is one of his best tools to keep us separated from everyone else. Then, you know, yeah, I have my besties here, and they're my besties and you're not. It's all like separation. It's one of the tools of the trade that the ego plays on heavily and makes you extremely dependent on these special relationships. And that's what God wants for us is a holy relationship where we all see one another. There's nobody special because we're all holy. And there's, you don't value, does a parent value one kid more than the other? No, it's equal. And that's how our relationships should be every day, everywhere we go. We should love everybody fully and let everybody have our full attention, our full respect, our full love, our peace, our understanding, you know? And when you reach that balance, you no longer need to have those special buddies on the side that you have to go to, or that special someone that you go to when you're not ready to face, you know, whatever you really should be facing in life.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, the heading here is the illusion and the reality of love. There's 8 sections here. Each one is a big long paragraph. And I'm going to read number 1 and pass it around the room.
And we have another book here as well, so if you want to just let us know what page, we can start
There's
passing
Fred.
this one to keep
And
the COVID
we're on page
guidelines.
337 here.
Ooh, good page to start on.
Is that an angel number?
It is.
Ah, it is. Good job.
These guys and their magic numbers and
That's my
stuff.
favorite number.
I'm not going to go there. Number 1. Be not afraid to look upon this special hate relationship, for freedom lies in looking at it. It will be impossible not to know the meaning of love, except for this. For the special love relationship, in which the meaning of love is hidden, is undertaken solely to offset the hate, but not let it go. Your salvation will rise clearly before your open eyes as you look on this. You cannot limit hate. The special love relationship will not offset it, but will merely drive it underground and out of sight. It is essential to bring it into sight and to make no attempt to hide it. For it is the attempt to balance hate with love that makes love meaningless to you. The extent of the split that lies in this,
Wow,
you do not realize. And until you do, the split will remain unrecognized and therefore unhealed.
All right, let's stop with that for a second.
Yeah, just
before we go.
let that melt in your mind a second.
Does anyone have any commentary to make on that through the phone? I'll make comment.
What
Go ahead.
page is that?
Because I got 80.
It's on 337.
Okay.
Okay.
Disappear.
I didn't get the page number first, that's all. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I really like the fact of what you say is when you attempt to balance it, you're you're basically minimizing love, or I don't know how you worded it, but that's the way I chalked it up in my head.
I think about all's fair in love and war, and the comments about the love-hate relationship.
Right.
How many times when we get in a relationship, it becomes kind of a love-hate thing? It's just some kind of, it's always there. It's always some measure of it there. But what this is saying that you can't share a room, you can't even share space with the hate. You might hide it, you might stuff it aside, but man, it's gonna come back with a vengeance when you do that then.
Right.
And so that's why the whole thing, you know, comes.
I guess it kind of puts the shift as
Creates a rift.
being as I spend so much time in my work trying to balance both extremes of many situations, not just love hate.
Then it's
that kind
the
of,
give and take
that kind
too.
of, yeah, but that kind of like puts a different light on things.
Yeah.
When you say that when you go to balance it, that you're actually diminishing the other,
The fullness.
the fullness of it. What, because you know what, romanticizing the extremes is what the epitome of humanity is about.
yeah.
Where we're like, in our fullness of, oh, woe is me, because I'm
Yeah.
all the way at this end of the extreme that I caused.
What fools are made
But
of.
really, when you minimize them completely, are you even living at all?
So we don't even
Yeah.
have
So it's a really neat concept. Sorry,
Not,
thought I'd throw that out there.
not the second one.
Right, just a question.
I think, are we going to go on to the second one here now?
Yep. Number 2?
If anyone else has any other commentary,
No. We're all ready to roll here for next
wait,
one.
did you just answer for it?
The symbols, right? See that?
If you want to read it, do you guys want to switch spaces so that you're on the camera and at the phone?
Am I on
You
the
guys-
camera?
You're on
Is that
camera
you?
and on phone right now.
Okay.
You got a little nervous. Do you guys want to switch spaces? Is that okay?
I don't know. I feel
You don't wanna be on
weird.
No,
Not
she
really.
does.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine.
I need
Move
to,
the
I'll
camera.
just speak up.
I will bring the phone over towards you.
Yeah.
That's fine.
The symbols of hate against the symbols of love play out a conflict that does not exist. Ooh. For symbols stand for something else, and the symbol of love is without meaning if love is everything. You will go through this last undoing quite unharmed, and will at last emerge as yourself. This is the last step in the readiness for God. Be not unwilling now, you are too near, and you will cross the bridge in perfect safety, translated quietly from war to peace. For the illusion of love will never satisfy, but its reality, which awaits you on the other side, will give you everything.
We're gonna have you read the rest of it.
Is that number 2?
Yeah.
Okay. AB, you want to read number 3?
Well, are there any discussions on what was just read?
Let's talk about that.
Do you have it, Leah? Let's discuss
Oh,
it.
She wants to talk. Let's talk.
It's just like it's like a whole different reality, a whole other place. To step when you can step out of that and just embrace love, just as for it all alone, with no comparison, no opposite, nothing else, just all embracing love.
Why does it talk about hate?
Well, that's what the ego would try to slip in there, but it's not even necessary.
Doesn't it say you need to love the hate?
No, love trumps hate.
What it was saying in the first one actually is what he was referring to is that you can't share spaces with both. It's
Yeah.
not a balance
Right.
of it's not a balance of love and hate. It's that when there's love, which diminishes the hate, or
Which
there's
is
hate, like you're
reality,
choosing one or the
yeah.
other almost.
Wow.
It's like a substitute for love. As soon as you put hate in the picture,
It's just a
you're-
different,
you're
maybe a
add-
different
you're-
perspective
you're-
of love.
You're crushing, you're taking God out of that equation, and allowing hate to come in, and then hate is so demanding that, like I said, it's not gonna let you go, and it's just always gonna be tormenting you, and you rearing its ugly head at every turn. When you realize that it's not even real, and you can just turn away from it, that's how you overcome all forms of hate. And you realize it's not necessary. It's absolutely not necessary. You just have a different stand then. You can stand on more solid ground, and you don't have to put up with hate or entertain it or allow it to have any strength in your life.
So does hate and evil, and the evil that comes from hate, and the hate that comes from evil, is that all just a battle of the ego?
Yeah,
Mm,
it is.
I'm just gonna snap at that.
And it's about love and
Realization.
fear too. Perfect love casts out fear, vanquishes it, outshines it, so that it doesn't even exist. And all the crazy stuff you can muster, all the horrible things you can imagine, all dissolve in the true light of pure love. When it's in the presence of pure love. And if you could, whatever you're up against, you bring the light of pure love into that situation. And that's when miracles happen. And without no level of difficulty, you know, any situation, every circumstance, this is what we're here for. This is at this incredible time of the world changing from hell on earth to heaven on earth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to be here,
But
at
being
this
hard to
moment,
see the light in
and
this
to
time.
be, and you realize
But where's the light in these times? We're looking
we
for
are
it,
the
yes.
light of the world.
We are the light.
Don't go looking for some,
Right.
you know,
The inward, what you were talking about.
some shining stuff coming out of the heavens and stuff. It's in us. It's in our hands. And yeah, this is not some. Let's go off to a mountaintop and meditate and be all by ourselves special. That's another special relationship. It's like being right there in the world, but not of it. In the
But
world,
not
but not
of it. Ooh.
And shining that
You
difference.
hear that? In the world, but not of it. And you know,
Exactly.
it's actually a big thing. A lot of times when I start feeling like I'm becoming too engrossed in the problems of society,
Right.
I turn to Course in Miracles.
Yeah.
And I read it because I realize that every single word reminds me again of that same feeling of being in the world, but not of it.
Right.
And that same reminder of the miracle of life and not the illusion of the mundane.
It says 1,000 problems, one solution.
Oh, always. Or like Timothy
One
Leary
solution,
says,
you know,
we don't have a problem.
you
We
got
need a solution.
thousands of problems out there, but there's one solution. And so that just absolves, you know, the reality of those problems. They fall down like a house of cards. There's really no substance to them. The solution, the substance of the solution, it outshines it so powerfully.
Then suddenly it's like the
And
light
the
was
strength
turned
of
on.
it,
You're no longer
the strength,
dreaming.
the power, the strength of it, the glory of it, the magnitude of it that is ours, that is within us, calls out the best in us to just, you know, we can do better than this. You know, and then you go to your brother with that, and yeah, that's how miracles happen naturally.
Are you reading the next one?
Okay.
Is everyone still tuned in here on the phone?
I am, yep.
Number 3.
I know a lot of people are on mute.
Excuse me. Thank you.
I see a lot.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, and a lot of people are on mute, but I do see still 5 people tuned in. I just looked at my options on the phone conference thing, and I see. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank
I'm still
you.
here. I walked away for a second.
That's fine. We got y'all here.
All right.
All right, we're reading the next one on the illusion of the reality of love. The illusion and the reality of love.
The special love relationship is an attempt to limit the destructive effects of hate by finding a haven in the storm of guilt. It makes no attempt to rise above the storm.
That's so
Into the
terrible.
sunlight.
Aw.
On the contrary, it emphasizes the guilt outside the haven by attempting to build barricades against it. And it keeps within them.
337.
No.
That wasn't pretty.
That ain't it. That can't be it. He was on number 3, and he read about 2 sentences.
The special.
And that's number 4.
No,
You want to be
no.
reading
You just
number
start-
3?
I think we were on number 3, yeah.
It says number 4 at the top of the
No, we're on number
No.
4, you're right. You're right.
No, we're
We're
actually
on-
on number 3.
No, we're actually on number 4, you're right.
Oh. The
Hold on,
special
I
love
apologize. One
relationship.
moment. We're gonna go back into that.
The special love relationship is not perceived as a value in itself, but as a place of safety from which hatred is split off and kept apart. The special love partner is acceptable only as long as he serves this purpose. Hatred can enter and indeed is welcome in some aspects of the relationship, but it is held together by the illusion of love. If the illusion goes, the relationship is broken or becomes unsatisfying on the grounds of disillusionment.
Word.
Sound familiar? Yeah.
I don't understand.
Are you guys all on? We're
We're
some
on
of you are not on the
I read
page.
number 5.
We're
Yes,
on
I don't
337 and
understand
338. If anyone
I guess
had
I
gotten broken up with that,
We're on number 5 now.
Mine's 337 and 338.
Yeah, bottom of 337.
Is that where we are?
Yes.
yep. And then it starts with on the top of 338. The special love relationship is not perceived as a value in itself, but as a place of safety from which hatred is split off and kept apart. That's the top of 338. On this third note that we have read, does anyone have any commentary to make from the phone?
Oh yeah, okay. I thought we were on number 4, but on the top it said 4 little, and then there was a bigger 4. It confused me.
I thought the very first opening of that was everyone sort of heard that and we were like, oh. The special love relationship is an attempt to limit the destructive effects of hate by finding a haven in the storm of guilt. And that hit a lot of us. I think we all kind of were like,
A haven in the storm of guilt.
ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah. How much guilt do we feel when we get mad? And
Does
hate?
that not connect our heart and sacral chakras? Sorry.
I don't.
Yeah, we get on the guilt trips together.
And also, how on the hatred can enter, and its welcome aspect, but it's held together by the illusion of love. Do you want to comment on that at all?
Well, it's like love becomes a glorified, elevated thing that you even know it when you're supposedly in love, that it's still something that you're still reaching for, kind of. You know, even when you're in love with someone, it's still some kind of an ideal that's just out of grasp that you're going for. And then there's that aspect of, well, we didn't do this, I didn't do this, you didn't do that. Then the guilt comes in. Then the resentment comes in. You might be resentful because you didn't really mean that.
But that's when you love with
Well,
expectation, which is
yeah,
false.
that's what I'm saying.
That's an illusion.
All these things come into play.
But it's calling illusion of the illusion of love. I'm saying the illusion of love.
In other words, the entire foundation is false.
Wow.
You know, to even look for that kind of love, much less to begin to play those games, you're in quicksand right off the bat.
That kind of love is an illusion. Right?
Yeah, and this is what they're trying to get us to see. If we can see that, see it, feel it, acknowledge it, and then go, okay, then you might not just dive right into it
Yeah.
next time you get try to get to know people.
So
you know?
when
Try to get to know people with pure love. And this is a challenge for me too, because I'm like, I'm looking for that special relationship right now. And it's like, no, I'm like, wait a minute, maybe I gotta look again and try to be, you know, just more of a pure loving guy. Right, Jill?
Oh.
Jill's out there, so she knows about it. Wisteria wouldn't be here if she didn't know about that, right?
Oh, here we go. Between the mom and dad conversation and looking for love.
Yeah. In all the wrong places, right?
All right, I can read the next one.
That's what I was supposed to.
I mean,
Are we on number 5 or what?
but
Or
I'm
not?
number 4.
You're still on 4?
I'm number 4.
Okay. Oh, then-
Love is not an illusion. I'll start this one off. Sorry. Love is not an illusion. It's a fact. Where disillusionment is possible, there was not love, but hate. For hate is an illusion. And what can change was never love. It is sure that those who select certain ones as partners in any aspect of living and use them for any purpose which they would not share with others are trying to live with guilt rather than die of it. This is the choice they see. And love to them is not only an escape from death. They seek it desperately, but not in the peace in which it would gladly come quietly to them. And when they find their fear in death is still upon them, the love relationship loses the illusion. That is what it is not. When the barricades against it are broken, fear rushes in and hatred triumphs.
Wow.
That's powerful.
And we all lived horribly ever after.
I mean, well, those
Wow,
two.
that's not God's plan for your life, but that's what we buy into when we suck into
The
that whole
illusion.
thing. Yeah.
Love itself is not an illusion. It's the
Life is a cruel joke, man. When you see it that way, that's what you're getting into. That's why I wanted Ivy Rose to be here tonight, man. She could be hearing this stuff and going,
the thing is though.
She's so
It takes a lot of
romantic.
reiterating everything in layman's terms to try to get it through, even to myself, let alone to a child. So
Oh, don't
I have to break
underestimate.
it down.
Don't underestimate.
I have to break it down 15 different times to get it through.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it does get through. But yeah.
Uh-huh.
This book does seem to speak in real fancy terms that of saying something that could have been said a lot simpler. So there are versions of this book available where they do simplify things and they use the saying layman's terms, like in plain,
Yeah.
simple English. Because they
Well, that's
do
why-
tend to talk fancier and say things like, well, disillusionment is what it's not, instead of just saying what it is. Like, you know, like
First off, the style and language.
Right, it's a lot of, like-
it's kind of Celtic.
did
It's
that
not-
cancel everything
it's not-
out? That no
Western.
negative? Like,
It's
that
not
was a
Western.
triple negative. I'm
Yeah.
not sure what's going on anymore.
I
What are you
love
trying-
it.
It is very beautiful, though. Do you want to go ahead and on with the fifth?
Yes, and then, like I say, this whole thing is about demystifying A Course in Miracles, trying to get past those, you know.
Right, and
So
trying
we
to
went-
simplify it, I guess
So we
that's
can
what we're
talk
here
about
to
it
do.
real practical,
Yeah.
practical terms.
All right, thanks for reminding me that, because
Yeah,
that's true.
that's what we're doing
here
here,
for, right?
yes.
Yeah, all right,
Okay.
cool.
There are no triumphs in love. Only hate is all concerned with the triumph of love. The illusion of love can triumph over the illusion of hate, but always at the price of making both illusions.
Ooh.
As long as the illusion of hatred lasts, so long will love be an illusion to you. And then the only choice remaining, possible, is which illusion do you prefer?
Oh.
And that's how people just end up being fucking hateful, man. You know?
Yeah.
You know,
But you know, it's a cycle.
yeah, but I mean, because after you get burnt so many times, and you realize this love stuff is just not real,
Well,
or whatever, then you're kind of
that
stuck
makes me want
with
to talk about the
what's the
conversation.
I
alternative.
know.
Which
It
is
makes me want to talk
hate?
about the conversation with
With EJ,
EJ.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in the back. He was in the back seat. I wasn't in the back seat. I was driving, and he was saying, you know, I was saying he was really angry about not being able to watch YouTube or whatever it was. But he was really angry, and he was like saying about how, you know, it's not fair and this and that. And then he was saying, you know, I was like, well, why are you so angry? What's this? Whatever it was. And he's going, oh well, you know what? You know, your peace and your meditation that's weak, and it's weak. And I'm like, what the? What?
Where is this coming
He's,
from?
you know, and you know, we, it kind of, AB kind of turned it around and was like, looked back and was like, hey, you know, actually losing your shit is weak.
Yeah. Having to buy
You know,
under self-control
And
and
not
discipline
being
is-
able to
is
have mind
wrong.
control of your
Yeah.
anger, which you're going through back there, you know, like is weak.
Right, right.
Yeah.
That's
And,
showing a sign of weakness.
I feel like somewhere here, which I already lost, but I feel like it had to do with what you were saying, the conflict.
Just by buying into the illusion of hate and love and putting yourself in that
Where did that
juxtaposition.
Why did I feel like I needed to mention that?
No, it makes sense because there's no
The
triumph.
triumph
and
of
love.
love.
Yeah,
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Right.
when you're really in love and depolarized, there's nothing to win or to lose.
Right.
Right.
And then the
It's such a
sense
shared
of
thing
weakness
that
and strength.
nobody is triumphing over another.
Yeah.
You know, everybody is entering into that joy together. Who's the winner? Who's the loser? Who's the,
Well, the one with
who's the-
expectations is the loser.
well,
Yeah.
but it's a thing where everybody wins.
There's-
Ollie and free. I can't hear you.
turn that out. Does anyone have any questions?
Does anyone have any questions out there or feedback? I wish we had more interaction with you guys out there. I know you're out there, but I can't hear you. Hello, hello?
I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, really.
No,
Yeah.
yes, we didn't.
The calls are breaking in and out, so sometimes. Yeah, that's just
Oh, maybe
So-
if we turn it, hold
We
on.
don't have the best
Maybe
connection
if we
going
turn,
on
is,
here.
does this work better if we turn it on? Like, is this better here, like that?
Now I can hear you better.
Okay, then you can probably hear us better. We can hear you better too.
I'm here, Henry.
I'm here. I'm right here.
You guys are clear the whole time on my end.
All right. Good. Did I?
I don't think you finished.
No, where were we at?
5,
Um,
did we?
About the triumphs.
I think we read it.
you said,
Oh no, we were in the middle of it.
yeah,
Oh yeah. The illusion of love can triumph over the illusion of hate, but always at the price of making both illusions. As long as the illusion of hatred lasts, so long will love be an illusion to you. Then the only choice remaining possible is which illusion you prefer. That's where we left off. There is no conflict in the choice between truth and illusion. Seen in these terms, no one would hesitate. The conflict enters the instant the choice seems to be the one between illusions. But this choice does not matter. Where one choice is as dangerous as the other, the decision must be one of despair. And that's what that's where what the logic of this world just leaves us in a state of hopeless despair. And that's like suicide, man. Like, what's it for? And everybody comes to that point and they go, you know what? I'm gonna have another beer. Let's turn up the music, and
It's like
haha, let's have fun instead,
Has self-worth.
it's
For
like,
tomorrow we
do
die,
I,
you
do
know?
I poke out
And
my
all
left
of us
eye
are
or my
really
right
going
eye?
Yeah.
through this. We're walking on this tightrope, and then one day you're 50, and the next day you're 60, and the next day you're 80, and here you are.
Oh my.
Such is life.
Deleted.
But this is an alternative to that. So that's what we're talking about here.
Should we move on? Should we
Number
do
6?
someone else for
Works.
number 6?
Yeah.
Should we keep moving
Yeah.
on with that? She
Yeah.
has a book.
We have 6, 7, and 8, and then we're done because we're not going to go
Okay.
beyond that.
So let's keep moving on with that.
Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all of the barriers within yourself that you've built against it.
Oh my gosh, I posted that and that was from Rumi.
I thought that was
I
Rumi
posted
too.
that and it said Rumi.
I
Wait,
feel like she
hold
might
on
have
right
just
now.
taken that
Hold
one.
on right now.
I
I
think she-
literally posted that and it said it was Rumi.
I'm pretty sure
Can
she
someone
took
please
that.
Google this? What is
Yeah.
going on here? Did this chick steal from Rumi? What's going on?
No,
I'm sorry.
Well, what do you mean? I literally posted that same quote and it was from Rumi.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you.
He's
But
like, I don't know what to tell
I
you, but
really
it's
don't
not.
think that Jesus was quoting Rumi. Maybe he was.
Oh, this was channeled, so it's
Yeah, he
not.
might
It
have.
can't.
He
Maybe
might have.
actually
It's
Rumi
quite
was
possible.
quoting Jesus.
Yeah, they're all
Yeah.
in the sunshine.
I'm gonna go ahead
I
and
don't
we'll
know.
continue on while we research that on our own. Can you
Little fact
please
checking.
start at the beginning though?
Yeah,
Because
I'll say
that is a
yeah.
really. I'm so glad to hear that it's in this book because I literally. Yes. All right. Anyway.
Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all of the barriers within yourself that you have built against it.
Woo.
It is not necessary to seek for what is true, but it is necessary to seek for what is false. Ooh.
Yeah, see?
Every illusion is one of fear, whatever form it takes. And the attempt to escape from one illusion into another must fail. If you seek love outside yourself, you can be certain that you perceive hatred within
Ooh.
and are afraid of it.
Wow.
Feeling a little called out. Yet peace will never come from the illusion of love, but only from its reality.
Wow, that was a really important piece there. Did you finish that piece?
Yeah.
Okay. So, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I have thought on that.
reality outwardly. If we are already embodied in love, there would be no manifestation of hatred to begin with. And the
Inward.
barriers that we would be conquering would be, challenges to make us better, to catapult us to greater heights that we were already predetermined by ourselves to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Regarding.
Because we usually collect light and then manifest the reality outward, and our emotions manifest outward, and then those are the challenges we face, which are internal structures that manifest as outward
Yeah.
things to challenge us. It's never actually an outward struggle.
Always
It's an
inward.
inward struggle.
Right.
Yes.
And then the manifestation of reality changes outwardly because you've conquered the barrier internally.
Right. I feel like this insight kind of gives, it's like a catapult. That catapults us right over those walls, those barriers, and into uncharted territory, in a way that it gives us freedom, and it releases us to look and see things differently and anew, and with a whole new, fresh, encouragement, empowerment.
Well, there was a specific line that stated in that let me just grab the book here, and we were in number 6,
Yeah.
and it said, if you seek love outside yourself, you cannot be certain that you perceive hatred within, or you can be certain. And what I believe it means, Nick, is if you're seeking it, then you have
You're
not
lacking
found it.
You're lacking.
It's the
it.
same thing as sort of
Yeah.
saying I wish I had this, or I hope I have that, or I think it was just maybe because you're right. Exactly
wish I
what
could
you're
be more
saying
loving,
is actually
if I
exactly
wasn't
what
so
the
angry,
truth is.
or,
If you're already
you know.
manifesting it, it is coming from a place of light. Whereas the statement that you might be referring to, where if you are at a place where you are still seeking light, like I need the light, then it's because you have spaces of light in you that are seeking light as well, which is exactly what you're saying is the outer manifestation is a reflection of the inner reality. So that's
And
absolutely accurate.
Also, if you're searching outwardly for, the light or love or anything, you should loving yourself, realizing that you are the light, with minus the ego, the true self shines brighter, and there you shine that on to other people.
Yes.
That's you manifesting reality and positivity because you already are I'm grateful I'm here, I love that I'm here, I love that
Right on. Yeah.
experience being
Yeah.
a human, and then that, creates the reality you are out. So any challenges after the fact would be systemic, not caused by you. That's technically what you'd be free, like you said. You would be
Yes.
free because you jump over all
Yeah, you're off the hook at that point.
You're off the hook at that point. I like that term.
Yeah, really. You absolve yourself. You're untouchable. When you enter in pure love, you're untouchable, man. No one can really, because there's no hate going on. It
100% agree.
yeah, it just changes the dynamics of all your relations. But
Is there another person tuning in?
is someone out there? I heard someone saying something.
Yeah, I'll leave.
Go ahead. No, don't wait. Leap in.
Okay. So I want to keep it brief. I have a unique experience of coming from a place where there wasn't love, and now that I'm a mother, I'm learning all of it as I'm raising them.
Wow.
And I just wanted to say that if anyone feels, because we keep saying self-love, but it can be very difficult for some people. If you don't know what love is and what love isn't in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And little ones today are bombarded by all this commercial stuff that they're not getting that. They're
But
not getting
imagine
that
they're
basic.
showing her
So, yeah.
that love.
Right,
Right.
right.
That she never realized or never knew. Like she's
Yeah.
learning that for the first time.
Right. Well, and I just wanted to encourage anyone who maybe feels like, oh wow, you know, how do I get to that place? I don't, maybe for some people, but I think for most people, it's probably not like a linear progression. It's sort of
Right.
like a leap, and you can kind of the place while you're figuring that out, and it's not easy. It's not easy.
No.
And sometimes when we read these things or we read quotes or people give us advice that can make it sound really simple, you have to go through a lot of dark places in yourself.
Yeah.
to
Yes.
get
Well, you
to
have
the
to go.
other side.
You have to go in a full circle, and you have to go all the way down and all the way through it all, and all the way out the other side, and to make progress and to ascend, and to arise above whatever you're coming through, and that continues year after year in
Oh
your
my
life.
gosh! And with every
and you're always progressing.
with
and
everything
you're
that
always
needs it, which
ascending.
might be a ton of things.
Yeah.
So you might have a ton of dark
And-
paths to go down.
And you don't want to find yourself spiraling down on the path of life.
At a million paths at
And
once.
that's the difference, you know. That's viva la difference, you
Right,
know.
right.
When you're
But
honestly,
it can be really difficult to face some of those things, and I don't think it's for the faint of heart. So anyone who's even trying
Right.
should be proud of themselves.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy.
no.
Yes.
It-
Thank you
it-
for.
It takes courage. It
Thank you
really-
for that. That's-
Hate is easy. Love
That's
takes
great
courage. Love really does take courage, but hate is easy.
Well, the opposite of fear is courage. What's the opposite of love is courage. Is you know you have they're balanced. You have to have courage to get through that.
Yeah.
I always used to write down no fear. I would write down the word no fear, and then in the middle of the word KNOW, I would write NO in black.
Uh-huh.
There is no fear.
Right.
Because no fear, you have to manifest it. So there
If
is no
you-
fear.
Well, once
If
you
you know
add
it, then you know that
once
it's
you
not there.
right once you add the gnosis, then you have no fear.
Right.
That's why I tell people, eyes open, no fear, almost every day. Like, because we're here.
Course in Miracles. A Course in Miracles says fear is
It's not real.
it's false evidence appearing real, but it's not false evidence appearing real. Fear.
FEAR. Yeah. Okay.
So let's get on to our six. Are we on number 6 here? I think you're up next.
Your task is not to seek for love.
No, wait. I think we did just do 6. So we're on 7.
We're on 7 now. Yeah. That's what I was
7 is right
thinking.
here with recognize.
Recognize
We're
this.
on, yes, page 338, guys.
Recognize this, for it is true. The truth must be recognized if it is to be distinguished from illusion. The special love relationship is an attempt to bring love into separation. And as such, it is nothing more than an attempt to bring love into fear and make it real in fear. In fundamental violation of love's one condition, the special love relationship would accomplish the impossible. How, but in the illusion, could this be done? It is essential that we look very closely at exactly what it is you think you can do to solve the dilemma which seems very real to you, but which does not exist, because you have come close to the truth, and only this stands between you and the bridge that leads you into it.
Any commentary? I thought I would like to comment on the special love relationship is an attempt to bring love into separation. So again, going back to that first rule with there is not you don't split it. It's not love and hate. It's love or hate. And again, when you're trying to recognize the fear, recognize this for the truth, recognize it in love. that what you're trying to do is recognize the separation.
We're
which
in
is
love.
not-
We have it, and you don't. You know.
Yeah.
We're in love, and you're not. You know, like it's just us. It's us two against the world. You know, that whole mentality is built in for disaster.
I can move on to number 6, and then
Yeah,
You mean-
or number 9 or 8.
8, and that is the last one.
Okay,
Okay, we're stopping there because
and then
we already covered. I've been actually covering the same area of the book since we started this class, and separating out these distinct parts so that we consider them independently. And all this picks up about where we should be leaving off. A little reminder here, folks. I'm hoping that we can read the first 300 pages of the text
5 years.
by Christmas, by the end of the year here, so we could all. It's an appropriate place for all of us to begin the lessons, the workbook.
The workbook.
Together.
I'm really excited
January
for the workbook.
1st. It's going to be an adventure. It's not something that I know of that's been done like what we're going to be doing here. It hasn't been done before, folks. So this is going to be exciting.
I definitely like I said, I had quite a different experience. I've experienced just my father preaching off the Course in Miracles all the time, but I until just right now this year, I did not know the details of the workbook for students and how it's literally a lesson a day for 365 days, and each of them involves basically, breaking down a certain concept or a certain aspect of your perception and really tuning in. And it's just really amazing. If you could just even get the link and flip through some of the workbook for students, you can get an idea of some of the lessons. You can understand as well. So I'm really excited for that, actually. I'll go into the lesson 8 here. You want to go ahead?
I do want to make the other comment I want to make about what makes this kind of unique is I have no intention to turn you all into a bunch of A Course in Miracles robots. Okay? We go through this and then we put the book down. Wisteria could tell you I haven't looked at A Course in Miracles in over 25 years. Because nope, you take it and you live it, you do it. And the problem has been over the years is that people aren't together on it. People are on this lesson or that lesson, and then it's like wildfire how it spreads, but then it also doesn't keep, it doesn't stay. You want to build a good fire that's going to last, and it's going to be strong, and it's going to last for generations. Not just some flash in the pan here. So you take
grease
it
fire.
seriously. You take
We
it
don't want any
once,
grease fires.
but you take that seriously. You do the. And the other thing is, you're the student. You're not the teacher. And it's not even your responsibility to necessarily, learn all the lessons. It's the teacher's responsibility to impart that to you, and trust A Course in Miracles. It's going to do that for you.
It's a good
It
teacher.
doesn't. You must have already noticed if you've been with us a little bit. That's what it does. It does the teaching. It does the opening and the healing, and it's you don't have to worry about the beauty. It's going to reveal itself to you in full and put you in such a better place.
Do you want to read the 8th one? Will you?
You want? Yeah. Okay.
I'm
She's
let
gonna
her
read
read.
the
She's
8th
such a
one.
beautiful voice.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to pull the phone over here. We're going to start on the 8th one, which is on page what?
339.
Okay, so if you guys are tuning in with the book, if not, it's okay completely. If you guys don't have the book yet, that's fine.
Heaven waits silently, and your creations are holding out their hands to help you cross and welcome them. For it is they you seek. You seek but for your own completion, and it is they who render you complete. The special love relationship is but a shabby substitute for what makes you whole in truth,
Ooh.
not in illusion. Your relationship with them is without guilt. And this enables you to look on all your brothers with gratitude, because your creations were created in union with them. Acceptance of your creations is the acceptance of the oneness of creation, without which you could never be complete. No specialness can offer you what God has given and what you are joined with Him in giving.
Wow. That's good. Any commentary from the phone? All right.
I'd like to share something. I don't know if any of you are familiar with The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron.
Yeah.
Yeah? So I'd say pretty much the biggest theme, my biggest takeaway is that we're all vessels for light and for
Expression.
God.
Yeah.
And that comes through us as creatives. And the idea of The Artist's Way is that we're all artists. It's not just,
We all have
Yeah.
that intuition. Yeah.
Yeah, and this part, the beginning of this passage, when we see your creations are holding out their hands to help you cross, like to help you cross that bridge to heaven.
Right.
Like it's actually heaven itself that's moving through you and saying,
Right.
like, it's not even, I guess I don't even know if it's crossing, it's just like the coming.
It's going
It
through
is,
you.
though.
Well, that's kind of what was related in the first
It's a-
thing where it was saying like you become the bridge. You become the
create
bridge.
the world, and then, so you can extend these new creations that are waiting for you. They're waiting to be discovered and uncovered. That's like, oh, really? I thought you were the bad guy next door. Oh, you're the good guy.
Yeah.
You're my friend. Oh, now we're helping each other out. You know, and this is the kind of things that are all around us. And if you fear something, guess what? That's
your
get
calling.
your attention.
That's your calling.
That's the person or the situation that you should run into, and
Yeah.
face it. And guess what happens when you're face to face with that other person or that other organization or agency?
Truth
or,
unravels.
Oh yeah, they melt.
Yeah.
They melt. It's amazing.
Oh, I just want to share one more thing. I feel like I'm losing it already, though. Along the lines of The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, it's really for everyone, but it is sort of obviously a little bit biased toward writers. And I'm a writer, and I've noticed, I think this is true, like you said, it's just true in truth. Like through the lens of a writer, usually the thing I'm most afraid to write is the thing that will resonate the most with my audience, which is fascinating, and it works every time. Every time I'm like, oh, I don't know if I should write that. Then it's like, oh no,
The
I definitely
juicy
should have.
stuff.
Yeah, it's the
You
juicy stuff.
know what's
yeah.
funny is when as
Yeah.
too running poetry workshop for so long, like I
Yeah.
found that when I was in the midst of a situation, I
Yeah.
could not write about it for the life of me. But if I was even 3 months past it, you know, then I would be able to
Yeah.
write about it. But I knew that it was because it was so juicy, and it would have been so, like, it probably would have been the best stuff ever to write on, but I just didn't have the courage. And if I would have just jumped that line and just done that, you know, in that time,
I
you know,
rarely do
I feel
have
like-
the courage. Yeah.
right, but having that courage is like it's such a big move as a writer, but like getting past that, oh my gosh. And I feel like it's the same exact thing reflected in real life, everyday living.
Yes.
You know, so that is a big thing, yeah.
Well, and I think in life, like we are stories.
This is our living stage
Yeah,
when
and
we open our eyes.
so like just as a human and as a speaker and like any of us, I feel like maybe there's something there to say that the thing that you're most afraid to share is actually the thing that is most important for you to share.
Yeah.
for the greater good, like not just for you, but for everyone.
Yeah, not just for what you
Yeah.
might hear, but for what you might show someone else,
Yeah.
reveal to someone else, for what they
Yeah.
might learn as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
All right, so
We're at 8:00.
we're 8 o'clock. All right, and the best thing I can do at this point is just read straight through, and because I want to really get this, get a nice big chunk of this information about the special relationship out there, straight up, and then.
Can everyone hear
So-
okay
so
out there?
This reading will take me 15-20 minutes, and then we'll talk about it after that. So just bear with me. And here we go.
Take your time. Here we go.
In looking at the special relationship, it is necessary first to realize that it involves a great amount of pain, anxiety, despair, guilt, and attack all enter into it, broken into by periods in which they seem to be gone. All these must be understood for what they are. Whatever form they take, they are always an attack on the self to make other guilty. I have spoken of this before, but there are some aspects of what is really being attempted that have not been touched upon. Very simply, the attempt to make guilty is always directed against God, for the ego would have you see him and him alone as guilty, leaving the sonship open to attack and unprotected from it. The special love relationship is the ego's chief weapon for keeping you from heaven. It does not appear to be a weapon, but if you consider how you value it and why, you will realize that's what it must be. The special love relationship is the ego's most boasted gift, and one which has the most appeal to those unwilling to relinquish guilt. The dynamics of the ego are clearest here. For counting on the attraction of this offering, the fantasies that center around it are often quite overt. Here they are usually judged to be acceptable and even natural. No one considers it bizarre to love and hate together, and even those who believe that hate is sin, merely feeling guilty, they don't correct it. It is the natural condition of the separation. And those who learn that it's not natural at all seem to be the unnatural ones. For this world is the opposite of heaven, being made to be its opposite, and everything here takes a direction exactly opposite of what is true. In heaven, where the meaning of love is known, love is the same as union. Here, where the illusion of love is accepted in love's place as separation and exclusion. It is in the special relationship, born of the hidden wish for special love from God, that the ego's hatred triumphs. For the special relationship is the reunification of the love of God and the attempt to secure for the self the specialness that he denied. It is essential to the preservation of the ego that you believe this specialness is not hell, but heaven. For the ego would never have you use the separation could only be lost, being the one condition of which heaven could not be. To everyone, heaven is completion. There can be no disagreement on this, because both the ego and the Holy Spirit accept it. They are, however, in complete disagreement on what completion is and how it is accomplished. The Holy Spirit knows that completion lies first in union, then in the extension of union. To the ego, completion lies in triumph and in the extension of the victory, even the final triumph over God. And this it sees as the ultimate freedom of the self, for nothing would remain to interfere with the ego. This is its idea of heaven, and therefore union, which is the condition in which the ego cannot interfere, must be hell. The special relationship is a strange and unnatural ego device for joining hell and heaven, and making them indistinguishable. And the attempt to find the imagined best of both worlds has merely led to fantasies of both, and to the inability to perceive either as it is. The special relationship is the triumph of this confusion. It's a kind of union from which union is excluded, and the basis of the attempt at union rests on exclusion. What better example could there be in the ego's maxim? Seek, but do not find. Most curious of all is the concept of the self which the ego fosters in a special relationship. This self seeks the relationship to make itself complete. Yet when it finds a special relationship in which it thinks it can accomplish this, it gives itself away and tries to trade itself for the self of another. This is not union, for there is no increase and no extension. Each partner tries to sacrifice the self he does not want for the one he thinks he would prefer. And he feels guilty for the sin of taking and of giving nothing of value in return. How much value can he place upon a self that he would give away to get a better one?
Right, right. That's,
The
that
right?
makes so much sense.
Oh,
right?
I'm doing so
Like,
much
how much
better
value are
now.
you really
I
putting
got her now, baby. I'm doing
Can you
great.
just repeat that
Okay,
last
no,
line?
Sorry.
How much value can you really?
Yeah.
That would be one I would underline. Sorry.
Each partner tries to sacrifice the self he does not want for the one he thinks he would prefer. And he feels guilty for the sin of taking and giving nothing of value in return. How much value can he place upon a self that he would give away to get a better one? It's kind of, he's really, just kind
makes
of
sense.
rubbing it in on us there, right?
Yeah.
The better self the ego seeks is always one that is more special, and whoever seems to possess a special self is loved for what could be taken from him.
Right.
Where both partners see this special self in each other, the ego sees a union made in heaven.
The ego sees
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So, oh yeah,
Yeah.
this is a marriage made in heaven, honey.
like the Ten of Cups.
Uh-huh. For neither
Sorry.
one will recognize that he has asked for hell, and he will not interfere with the ego's illusion of heaven, which it offered to him to interfere with heaven. Yet if all illusions are of fear, they can be of nothing else. The illusion of heaven is nothing more than a attractive form of fear, in which the guilt is buried deep and rises in a form of love. The appeal of hell lies only in the terrible attraction of guilt which the ego holds out to those who place their faith in littleness. The conviction of littleness lies in every special relationship, for only the deprived could value specialness. The demand for specialness, the perception of giving of specialness as an act of love, would make love hateful. The real purpose of the special relationship, in strict accordance with the ego's goals, is to destroy reality and substitute illusion. For the ego is itself an illusion, and only illusions can be the witnesses to its reality.
Can we just stop there for a minute?
Yeah. This part,